Hey everybody, it's Marshall again, doing another Walk of Life episode. It's been a long time, been a while since I've done one of these. And I said I was going to do these infrequently, but maybe I need to start doing these more frequently. I don't know if it'll be every week or not, but I need to start being accountable somewhere. And so I might as well start here on the Walk of Life, where I started. If you can see behind me, I am at a park. I am at Heroes Park. It was kind of my most common park that I would do my Walk of Life at when I was doing that a year and a half ago. Well, it's been under a year since I stopped doing it for the podcast, or for Patreon, and for my life. But I guess, anyway, I'm trying to do this without any editing, so I'm just going to keep on going ahead, even if I screw up a little bit. So yeah, basically, I haven't been doing the Walk of Life for a while, but I still continued to eat correctly for a while, doing the carnivore diet, and, low carb, all that kind of stuff. And so, but again, I fell off that wagon too, and recently started things back up with that. And I think it's time for me to start at the Walk of Life again. I just said that. But being active again, getting out there, moving my body around, not to lose weight, but just to be active. My body needs that, right? I've talked about that a lot on this particular podcast. I'm going to do these as videos this time, instead of just as a podcast. Sometimes I might actually be walking and talking at the same time in the video, which I'm going to have to come up with something that will make it less of a problem for you to watch. But this is one of two videos that I'm doing. Basically, I just wanted to set up the rules that on this new initiative that Big Anklevich and I are doing for, I'm doing it kind of as part of the Walk of Life. But really, it was just, him and Big and I commiserating with each other on, we're losing at this battle. We are not keeping up. We are not doing any good to our bodies. And we are hurting ourselves and killing ourselves because we're not doing what we're supposed to do. And slowly, making it worse and worse for our body and our joints and our longevity of living on this earth. And so I was trying to come up with some idea, even before Big and I were texting. I was trying to think of what can I do that's simple. And I don't know if it's simple anymore, but at least it's measurable. So that's something. So he mentioned something around, I'm going to turn 50 in a year and a half or something like that. And I need to do something that, like a long-term goal, because before we were doing 30 days at a time, or 90 days at a time, or a week at a time, 10 days, whatever it was a challenge to do for a finite amount of time. And then what do you do when you're done with that finite amount of time? Well, you just try to keep on doing what you were doing in those 30 days or those 90 days or whatever it is. And I did that for a while, but then I eventually started to fail. And after a while, I started to make the effort. I stopped making the effort. So I started thinking, okay, well, I can't say I'm going to do it until I turn 50 because I'm over 50. So I thought, well, I'm going to be 45, kind of around that same time that you're going to turn 50. There's a few months, 4 months or something in between our birthdays. And so I started to figure it out. How many days is it going to be until I turn 55? And it turns out that from a week and a half ago, on a Saturday, I think it was the 25th of March, if I started on that day, it was 680 days until I turned 55. And I said, okay, what can I do in 680 days? What kind of a challenge can I come up with? But like I said, before that, I was already trying to come up with something. And I was thinking, well, man, I just need something simple. A pass or a fail. Did I pass today or did I fail today? And if I pass, I get a point. If I fail, I don't get a point. And I'm trying to accumulate points. And I was trying to think of some way, maybe, think of it as money. If I get so many points, I can get something for myself, some reward or something like that. Before that, I wasn't thinking about 680 days or even around my age. But then when Big kind of put that in my head, I thought, well, shoot, what's an even number? So I looked ahead and I came up with that 680 days. So this is the 680 challenge that I came up with for myself. And at the time, I was only developing it for myself. And I thought, okay, I'll come up with this point system and I'll tell Big what I'm doing. This is my goal. What is your goals? But I wanted to share it with him so in case he wanted to use it for himself or make adjustments to it for what he wanted to do. And so I kind of came up with it, wrote it up in a podcast, came up with it in an email, sent it off to Big, and then he started texting me right away and said, hey, let's do this together. How can we make it a competition? I wasn't even thinking about making it a competition. But yeah, that makes sense. That's more incentive to do this. And so let me explain the system to you. Like I said, if I pass the day, then I get a point. If I fail for the day, I get 0 points. But I knew there had to be more to it than that, because it's easy to fail if, well, I just don't get a point today. Oops, I failed. There's got to be some penalty for failing too often. So I came up with, okay, if I fail multiple times within the same week, then not only do I get a 0 score, but I lose a point. I get a -1 point for that. I thought, okay, well that's good. And then later on I thought, yeah, but the problem with this is once you fail, right, then you start to binge. And you say, okay, well, I failed yesterday, so I'm just going to keep going. And it could go on for a week or a month or several months in this binging period. And if I'm just getting 0 points, then I'm saying, well, I'm not getting my points. So I penalize myself for doing that. And so that was the -1. But if you do it in consecutive days, if you fail twice in consecutive days, that means you're on a run. And so now you're going to lose 2 points for that day, because 2 days in a row, or if you go the next day, it's another -2 points. And so you could be in the hole really quick. And so I came up with that system to prevent myself from failing and just calling it a whoopsie and making it more cost prohibitive. No, whatever. So it was going to cost me if I continued to fail. And so I thought about that, and I thought, well, shoot, if I'm going to lose points, I got to give myself a way to try to get extra points or gain those points back. But I can't make it easy. I can't just say, oh, I thought, I was trying to think, well, if I fast for a day, then I get an extra point. Well, I'm like, yeah, but fasting isn't necessarily healthy if you're doing it all the time. There has to be a point or a goal toward your fast. And I'm just talking physical. I'm not talking about religious things at all when I'm talking about fasting. So I didn't want to reward myself for fasting, because that's kind of an easy thing to do. So I said, okay, what if I just did the beef, butter, bacon, and egg, but I had to do it for a whole week? That would give me an extra point. And so if I failed 2 days in a row, I got a -2. Now I have to go for 2 weeks of beef, butter, bacon, egg, and that would keep me on track, hopefully, to get those points back. So that's the point system that I came up with. Now, you could do that too, and you could come up with your own filter for, okay, what determines what is a pass and what is a fail? What is your filter for that test? If you were doing an experiment, you'd have to have a criteria set aside for this is a pass and this is the fail. So for me, it's pretty much eating carnivore, but I'm allowing myself some vegetables, green vegetables mostly, and some berries. I'm allowing myself dairy except for milk. What else was I allowing myself outside of the standard carnivore. I can't remember, but anyway, it's along those lines, right? So that's my filter. Maybe your filter doesn't need to be that drastic. Maybe you want your filter to be just no sugar, no soda, or something like that. I don't know. If you want to play along, then you can come up with your own criteria for what's a pass and what's a fail. We did add in, though, we found that, hey, if I screwed up in the morning, let's say, you know, I had cereal for breakfast. I haven't done that yet, but let's say I decided, oh, I'm going to give in. I'm going to have cereal for breakfast, or, you know, whatever it is, a soda in the morning on the way to work. Well, now I've failed for the day, so shoot, I've got all day, man. I can go free for all day and eat whatever I want. That's not a good mental attitude to have. And so Big ran up against that, and I ran up against that in our first week of trying to do this. And so we decided, okay, we need something else to prevent ourselves from doing that. Because, you know, like Big said, if you're an addict, you're gonna look for any loophole you can to get what you want, you know. So hey, I've got a free day now. I screwed up at 7 in the morning. Hey man, I can eat whatever I want. So we talked, well, he came up with some solutions, and then I thought about it. I said, well, I don't want it to be too complicated, or you know, I didn't want to have to think about it too much. So I came up with a near miss. So it's not a fail, but it's a near miss. You screwed up. You ate something you weren't supposed to. And but you only get one item. So if I have a soda in the morning, crap, that's a near miss. But then if I go ahead and eat a bagel, we'll talk about that in my next video. If I have a bagel after I have my soda, well, that's 2 items. So, buddy, you failed. So, again, there's that whole attitude. If you eat 2 items in the morning, then you failed for the day. So you might as well go hog wild. You can't prevent that. At some point, you're gonna have to be accountable for your own actions. I'm gonna have to be accountable for my own actions, and I'm gonna have to want to avoid the fail. And I'll talk a little bit about that in my next video. Right after this, I'm probably at that point. But anyway, I just wanted to explain the system, explain what I was doing with this 680 challenge, my road to 55. And Big's doing it with me and keeping points. I came up with a spreadsheet. It's getting more and more complicated as we've added things to it. But it's just a way to track. And maybe I'll put a picture. Well, maybe I'll wait till the next video. But anyway, this is video number 1. This is just the basics explaining what I'm doing in this 680 program. This will probably go on Big Ankovich's. Well, not this, because Big's already explained this on his YouTube channel. And so I'm not going to go through it again for his channel. That's why I wanted to separate this into 2 separate videos. But my next video will be, how have I been doing? Today is day 10 of this challenge. How is it going for me? I've already told you about 1 fail, and I'll let you come back for the next video to see where I'm at now. And until then, man, well, I'll see you in a bit. All right, bye.